Right, so here we go. So grab your pen or marker. So the first thing I would do is get rid of the brackets, right? Distribute out the 2. So I would go 32x squared minus 15x plus 50. That's 12x squared plus 250x plus 150. And you bring everything over. So 32x squared minus 12x squared, right? This comes over. This also comes over, so we have negative 15x minus 250x. So that came over. And then we've got plus 50, and then minus 150, because that comes over. And then we're left with 0 on the other side. Okay. Combining like terms gets you 20x squared minus 265x minus 100 is equal to 0. If you get to that point, I give you 1 mark already. If you made any mistake today, it's a minus 1 at this point. But moving forward, like after this, you'll still get all the marks that follow this. Obviously, if you brought everything over to the right-hand side, then you'll just have the opposite signs for all of them. Okay, so it'd be negative 20x squared plus 265x plus 100. That's what you would get if you bring everything over to the right side. That's fine. So either one gets you the mark. Okay. All right, so A is 20, B is negative 265, C is negative 100. Okay. We solved this by graphing yesterday, so now we're doing it using the quadratic formula. Right? So here we go. Negative B plus or minus B squared, okay, minus 4 times A times C. And obviously this will be different for you if your A, B's, and C's are different, right? So I have a way to check that. I just plug it into Desmos, and then I figure out what your x-intercepts are based on your A, B, and C, and then I make sure that's what you actually get, okay? So 2 times 20, like that. So we plug it in, then we clean it up a little bit. So double negative will be 265 plus or minus. I figure out what the root gives me. It's a big number. I'll just show you here so you can see how I would type that in. Right, so you go negative 265 squared minus 4 times 20 times negative 100. If you use brackets, you cannot get this wrong. Okay, you cannot get this wrong. 78, 225, right, over 40. If you get to this point, you get another mark where you clean it up and you simplify it to this expression right here. And then you're going to get half a mark for each of the roots, because this is a positive discriminant, so we're expecting 2 roots. Okay, so you'd get x for, so the first one would be 265 plus root of 78, 225 divided by 40, and the second root would be 265 minus 78, 225, all of that over 40. So we'll figure out our x1 and x2. You don't have to have x1, x2. That's fine without. Okay, so I grab my calculator. I go 265 plus. I already have, oops. I'm going to do root first, and then I'm going to go copy paste that in. I'm going to hit enter there and then divide it by 40. So that's 1362, right? So that's 1362.0. If you have 1362, I already give you half a mark for that. Copy paste that expression, right, for my second root. So I'm just going to replace that with a minus, and then I'm going to divide that by 40, so you get negative 0.37. So it's negative 0.370, okay, like that. So another half a mark for getting that second root. So 3 marks total for this question based on that. So let's go through some scenarios here. If you made a mistake in your ABCs, that's a -1. You lose that mark. But then I would give you, if you plug in those values that you got, I would give you a mark if it's correct. If it follows what you've done, for that step you get a mark. And then obviously you get another half and half for the roots that you got based on your answers, all right? So that'll be different so chances are you still got 2 out of 3 if you were consistent after finding your ABCs, okay? All right, so 3 marks for this one. Let's do B. I'll copy down. I like to have the actual expression before I solve. It just makes more sense that way. 2x squared minus 15x plus 59 and negative 4x squared plus 45x minus 91. You could have, by the way, you could have on this one used the graphing method to verify your answer. You could have plugged this into y1, this into y2, and try to find the intersection, like wherever they cross each other. Sometimes there are 2 parabolas, like in this case. Sometimes one is a parabola, one is a straight line. So you'll see, if you practice, then you'll see those scenarios appear. And then if you should be getting these 2 x values at those intersections. Okay? So if you had the time, you could have double-checked that way. Here we go. Quadratic formula, right? So I'm going to bring everything over to the left-hand side. So that's 2x squared plus 4x squared minus 15x, right, this one, minus 45x plus 59 plus 91 is equal to 0. Okay, that's what I get there. And I get 6x squared. This is negative 60x. And this is 150 positive is equal to 0. So A is equal to 6, B is equal to negative 60, C is equal to 150. Okay. I would strongly recommend you write those down. So if you get to this point, you get a mark. Okay. Then plug it in. Negative B plus or minus B squared minus 4 times A times C. I can already tell that this is going to be a negative, right? 2 times A. So clean it up. Double negative is 60. Plus or minus. Let's figure out what that is. Right, so negative 60 squared minus 4 times 6 times 150. Let me close that bracket here. There we go. Oh, it's 0. It's not negative. I thought it was going to be a negative. So that's 0 over 2 times 6 is 12. So this means, right, only one root. Okay, only one root. So x is equal. So if you get to this point, you get another mark because you've simplified. You've substituted and you simplified. That's a mark. And then this is 60 divided by 12, really. We don't need to go plus root of 0. So 60 divided by 12, that's 5. So it's a nice 5, 0 is your x-intercept. This is also my vertex. That's the only way you have one x-intercept is if your vertex is sitting on the x-axis. Okay, so just also the vertex. So it's not just the x-intercept, but which way is this pointing? It's pointing up when we rewrite it. So imagine this. It's 150 here, and it's 50 here. So it does something like this. Okay. So it's our x-intercept and it's the vertex at the same time when that happens. So, marks for this, right? I'm going to just make this worth a mark, the x-intercept, so that we still are out of 3. Okay. So you get 3 marks for this question as well. So 3 and 3 so far. So 6 total. And now we're going to do the graphing. So So grab this part or get to this point here. I will go ahead and enter this. Checking, always double check your x squares and your x, right? Make sure that is the case. If you get a straight line, you forgot the square, okay? It's actually pretty good. I used Zoom Fit when I created this, and that's what it did for me. You know what? I'm going to get rid of the 0. y2 is equal to 0, because it might affect what Zoom Fit does. So let's try that one more time. That still does the same thing. Pretty good, I must say. This is a pretty good. I'm just going to bring my y min down a little bit, and my x max, I'm going to expand that. Okay, so x max, I'm going to go 50. My y min, I'm going to go negative 1200. What? I must have. Oh, 1200. I meant negative 1200, sorry. There we go. That's a pretty good graph. So I'm going to go and find the important points, right? So let's do the vertex first. So this is second trace min, right? This is a minimum. So you go to the left of it, enter, to the right of it, enter, enter. So that's 5.42. So the vertex is 5.42 negative 960.21. So low, right? That's a crazy low y value, but that's okay. We can deal with that. X-intercepts. Okay, I'm going to use, I went second trace min for this. I'm okay, no keystrokes today because we're focusing on the graph. For the x-intercept, I'm going to let y2 equal to 0. Hit graph, second trace 5. I'll find that one first. So one of them is 1107, okay? 1107.0. And the other one, oh, I shouldn't have done that. It's not going to find it. Oh yeah, it did. Negative 24. Negative 0.240. Okay. By the way, we expected this to be a very narrow curve. Okay. We expected it to be pointing up. Our y-intercept is negative 80. So the y-intercept, I'm just going to state 0, negative 80. Like that. And so now you have everything you need to graph. Okay. So I'm going to grab my ruler and just make a grid and make it fit. Okay. Like that. And I kind of go a little, I'm going by this, I realize that the curve is kind of offset a little bit to the right. So, and it goes way down. So I'm going to kind of focus on, this is my x, this is my y. I need to go down to 960 negative due to my vertex. So let's see here. 200, 400, 600, 800, 1,000. That'll do it. So 2, 4, 6. So this is negative 200. Sorry. No, now I'm going by 100. That's not going to work. So this is negative 200, negative 400, negative 600, 700, 800. I got this, guys. I got this. Hold on. I can do this. Okay. 2, 4. This is 400. 600. 800. 1,000. Okay, I'm just going to leave it like that. So I'm going by 200. I'll do the same going up, right? So 200 along the y-axis. And along the x-axis, I can go by 1 probably. I'm going to try by 2s. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Okay? So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So this will be 12. This is negative 2, negative 4, and so forth. That is going to work for me. So 0, negative 80 is right up. This will be negative 100, so negative 80 is right about there. Negative So this is almost at the origin right there. And then 11 would be right here. And the vertex is at 5.42 here, minus 960, somewhere there. Okay, so I go and do something like this. Go back to the vertex, go out like that. Okay, so that's my graph. And don't forget the actual equation. So you'll get 1 mark for scale, 1 mark for labels, and 1 mark for shape. Okay? And the shape has all the points where they're supposed to be. If they're not where they're supposed to be, this would look like a symmetric parabola. Okay? So I'm going to give you today, okay, for all the work of finding the points, we're going to give you 1 mark for that. And then 3 marks for the actual graph, a total of 4. So the graph itself is 4. Both quadratic formula questions are 3 each, right? So 3, 3, and 4 makes it 10. So this AC is worth 10 marks altogether. Just make sure you have your name and last name on there. And tally it up, okay?